Hey, my lovelies, it's me, author Alexandria Infante, coming to you with a new review. So, today is Tuesday, and we didn't have an actual submission romance today. So, Jen found one on Amazon and she bought it and she sent it to us. Actually, no, I think this one is a freebie. It's on Amazon. So basically, what we do is when we don't have an actual submission, we will substitute with either an indie author from Amazon or an indie author from the Poison Pen House. I can't do my own books because that'd be kind of cheesy. But I can definitely review my housemates. And so tomorrow we will probably review one of my housemates because we don't have a romance. Now we have actual fiction, but we just don't have any romances. And also we don't have a which is really weird. I see the Facebook posts on Facebook and people are saying this is awesome and people are subscribing, but we're not getting any submissions. So if you are sending in your submission, please send me a little shout out down there at the bottom of the where the comment section is, so maybe Jen can know to like look in the trash or the spam or something like that, because we haven't actually gotten any romance. The last romance author we got was author Kish Knight, which was yesterday, and we haven't gotten another romance since then. So if you are a romance author, please send in your work. Now remember, if you are not, but you are an author and a indie author, then fiction, you can send in your fiction as well, whether it's suspense, mystery, horror, any of that. It doesn't matter what genre you send in, except for Christian and nonfiction. We don't do those titles. Just basically, we don't really have anyone who wants to read that, because most nonfiction is like self help or spiritual, or it's biographies, and we don't really have anyone who wants to read it. So so we don't do those. Christian, we might have someone next month. So if you are a Christian author, you can hold on and then just keep checking back with us, and maybe next month we will actually have a reviewer. Because my mom loves Christian literature, so I may actually get her to do it. We'll see, but yeah. So check back. We'll see what she says, and if she wants to do it, then we'll give you guys carte blanche to send in all of your Christian fiction. I mean, fiction novels. Yeah. Because she likes the Christian fiction and she likes Christian nonfiction too. So, we'll see if that's something that she wants to do. But anyway, for that. And then also, you do not have to be Latina. So I'm not sure if when you guys are coming over and watching the submission videos that you're thinking that because it's called Latina romance books or rom books, that you have to be a Latina author or your characters have to be Latina. This is not true. We called it the Latina rom books, the only indie author channel out there, because of the fact that that's what we are. I'm Latina. Jen's Latina and Hawaiian and Asian. Arlie is Latina and SK isn't, but the majority of the authors under the Poison Pen title are Latina. So it's Jen and my channel. So I'm multiracial, and then she's multiracial as well. But the majority of it is Latina. So that's why we called it Latina. But your characters don't have to be Latina, and you don't have to be Latina yourself. You could be any nationality, whether you're Hindi, Caucasian, Japanese, Chinese. It doesn't matter. We don't care about your nationality. As far what we care about is your writing. So if you are an indie author, Please make sure that you send in your submissions. This is not just a black or Latina thing. This is everyone. And so I don't know if that's what you guys are thinking, because I see the submission clicks. You guys are clicking them, but then we're not getting any work. So I don't know if that's like what, Caucasian people are thinking, that, oh, well, it's only for them. No, and that would kind of be like stereotypical anyway. So, but anyway, so yeah, make sure you send in those submissions. Tonight's author isn't on our roster, because we didn't actually, like I said, we didn't actually have a romance for this week. So I'm going to substitute. And tonight's author is da 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 da. My Kindle's been acting so freaking weird lately. It's like it doesn't want to come on. And then when it does, like when I do the voice, so where it reads it for me, it's been like pumping in music, and so it's been acting really weird. I'm thinking maybe I need to buy a new one. So yeah. So basically, tonight's author is so tonight's author is Colleen Pinkey. That is the author that Jen sent me. The book is called The True Alpha, and it's a black woman, white man, werewolf, shifter romance novel. And here is the cover. Okay, so now, here is the thing with reviews. When there is a book that we feel that has issues with it, and I guess not so much doesn't meet our criteria, because that's not something we would say or use, but more like we just feel like the author has some fixing to do. Yeah, we'll use that. And so those books, we don't star. We don't star them because, one, we don't want to give the author a bad review or a bad star review. Now, we had an author, I keep saying this because it just boggles my mind, but we had an author who said that she would rather us give her a 1 star. I don't know. I am an author as well, and as an author, I don't think I would want a no star. I would rather the person tell me, hey, fix A, B, C, and D, and then when you fix that, then I will star it. I'll do whatever. I won't do a review until after you've actually fixed what needs to be fixed, or, basically, at this point, if I were to star you, I'd probably give you a 1 star or a 2 star. So how about I just wait until you fix whatever needs to be fixed? That's an indie thing. I feel like that's an indie thing, because when you buy like a Harry Potter or something, if the book sucks, then most people will just write, hey, this book sucks. But as an indie review channel, my goal is to get you to see pretty much what needs to be fixed, or like, because I'm coming to you as a reader. This isn't me, Alexandria, the author. Now, even though we start the channel with, hey, it's me, author Alexandria Infante, that's just for your knowledge. But I'm coming to you as a reader when I'm doing these reviews. Jen is coming as a reader because Jen is a reader. She's actually not an author. My hair looks so wild, y'all. I'm sorry. I went to the gym today again, so I'm feeling dough up, and I'm kind of licking dough up. So basically, I'm trying to pay it forward, and I want to let you know before you put the book out there. Or if the book is already out there, what maybe readers are saying or thinking as well. So now, this book is called The True Alpha. The True Alpha, and I won't be starring it. Okay, so now, the book, I have to get my notes. The book takes place in... Okay, so the beginning of the book it begins with Stefan and Chandra. Okay, so I was confused through this entire book. I tried, y'all. I really, really tried. But every time I thought I was learning something, I would just be like, okay, wait, that's not true. Okay, I had to go back and read and find and try to figure out. And it was just very chaotic, is what I should say. Okay, now the premise of the story is a good story. I mean, she started with, okay, so, um, it feels like it's set in a like Cinderella type atmosphere because they use Milady and they use Sir a lot. But then you turn around and then there's something like the character saying, let's drive to so and so. And so so for the entire first chapter, I was confused, y'all. I was like seriously confused. I could not figure out heads or tails. I did not know what was going on. I really truly didn't. And then so basically Chandra is a shifter. I mean Chandra meets a shapeshifter, okay, a beast. They're traveling together. This is what I could get out of it. They're traveling together and they pretty much each tell their story about, she tells why she left or why she ran away, and he tells why he ran away. Well, he is a shifter. At this time period, which is why another thing that makes me think it's like medieval or at least like 15th 16th century, like Cinderella type villages and stuff, where you have serfs and the feudal lords. And so he's running because at this point they're killing shapeshifters. They're trying to get rid of them. And so they wind up traveling together. She tells her story to him. He tells his story to her. And then they come along like this cabin or whatever, and they have to spend the night. So they spend the night together. Well, they wind up having sex. Just randomly. Like, I just met you. I ain't drunk, so there's no excuse of that. And they just want to have sex. And so I was a little confused about that. And then, he tells her that people were after him and that she needs to leave because the people are going to come and they're going to get him, and so it's better if she goes on her way. She escapes, she gets wet. So she leaves, and then he tells her that he loves her. Okay. That to me was weird too, because he just met her on the road. I'm not following this. So then, it's like, and then, so then the character goes on, she leaves, and then a month later, she's pregnant. So she's pregnant with the shifter's baby. And so then she doesn't know what to do with herself, and so she travels from here and there, and she's like, my life can't be this messed up, and I don't need a baby to complicate it, and so she wants to get rid of the baby. But like I said, it seems like it's talking about villages, and so she knocks on these people's door, and then the guy opens up the door, the maid opens up the door, and then the servant. And then she's like, I need help. I need food for my baby. And so the lady's like, where's your baby? And she's like, I'm pregnant. And then someone, the actual master of the house is like, who is it, Anna? And then she's like, oh, it's a young woman here. And she's saying that she's pregnant and she needs food for her baby. And so he invites her. She collapses. He catches her. He brings her into the house. He calls the doctor. The doctor comes, and the doctor says, oh, well, she's dehydrated. She's starving. She might have been trying to get rid of the baby. Which, if this is like modern times, that part I kind of don't understand either. And so she goes and she gets like the the man actually, like I said, takes her in. He calls the doctor. The doctor says that blah 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 blah. They make her comfortable. She sleeps, the night. She wakes up the next day. They give her like tons and tons of food because the man, Stefan, or I can't remember the father's name, but the kid's name is the son's name is Jack. So when it's him and his son Jack, and so they give her like all this food the next day, and they're telling her, but the father and the son were having a conversation before, and the son's like, who is she and what do we do with her, and the dad's like, we'll just keep her here, blah 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 blah. And so she wakes up the next day, and they give her like tons and tons of food, and they're like, oh, you need to eat all of this, blah 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 blah. And then she's like, okay, well, what am I gonna, what clothes am I gonna put on or whatever. And then she gives her a box, and it's a dress, like this really expensive beautiful dress, and it's a diamond necklace and earrings. And so then basically after she gets that, then they get married. And so, I was kind of confused here too, because the name started out as Chandra, and then it switched to Jill. And so this girl's name is Jill, and the boy's name is Jack. And then, so I was kind of like, where the hell did Sandra go? And then, so then, basically, okay. So then, so I was kind of thinking like, so they get together and then they get married, and then she's like, okay, well, first she's like, I need to leave. I can't stay here. I need to go and find, I have to make a way for me and my baby to raise my baby, because now she wants to keep the baby. And then so Jack's like, no, you can't leave. And he's like, I love you. I want to marry you. And so he marries her, and then they basically have a good life. She goes to have her baby, and then during the birthing process, she dies in childbirth. So at some point she saw her death. I think she was a medium, or she was not a fortune teller, but she could see the future, because when she was talking about when they were walking down the street, when she was with or the village, or when they were walking, she was explaining, and she was telling him what she was. So I think she, excuse me, I think she was like a seer. And so she foretold, or she saw her own death. And so basically she had told him already, and he didn't want to believe it. And then she told him anyway. And then she died during childbirth. Okay. And so like he didn't want the kid, because basically he's like, the love of my life has passed. And so he didn't want to deal with the kid. And so his idea is that he should kill the kid, because if he kills the kid, then the kid won't grow up to be like him, because then you find out that he's a shifter too. And then he's like, if I kill him now, he won't basically cause as much harm and damage and all this stuff. And so he tells everyone that the kid has a disease, and that the disease is so bad that it's going to it's contagious, and it's going to be communicable to every single person in the village. So he needs to drown the kid in the river. And so he takes the kid to the river, and he's about to drown him. And then he hears these people, and this couple comes along, and they're having a picnic. And so then he like hides into the bushes, and the baby's like in like a Moses basket pretty much. And so it floats into the water, and then the couple's having the picnic, and then the wife wants to get in the water. The husband's like, no, I'm not getting, sorry. The husband's like, I'm not getting in there. So she goes into the water, and then she sees the basket, and she gets the baby, and she's like, oh my God, it's a baby. She can't have children, and so she wants to keep the baby. And then they take the baby, and then they pretty much go to raise the kid. And so the father, seeing that the people took it, was like, okay, well, I need to make sure that, he doesn't harm anyone, because now I couldn't kill him, so I have to watch over him to make sure like he doesn't harm someone. And so he goes and he asks to leave for a job as the gardener. And so basically through the years, he's watching this kid grow up. And so there were so many confusing things in this book. And so the kid grows up. He's 16 now, and he's at school, and he's really smart. And The thing that I didn't understand also is the wife of the woman who wanted to keep him. Her father is a hotel mogul. He's got buku bucks. But the kid's vying for a scholarship. I didn't get that. That's not possible. And so basically, um, the couple who take the kid in, their name is Dre and Elena. And so they raise him to be like, their kid. And the fact that, like I said, the fact that they call each other milady and sir, it made me think like it was like in like, like Cinderella time. But then she said driving and, reading the maps. And so anyway, so this book was chaos. I couldn't keep it straight. There was so much going on, and the author like jumped from one thing to the next, because by the time I got to Elena and Dre, I realized that the entire first portion of this book is supposed to be a flashback. But the author didn't write it like a flashback. Like, she didn't give the reader any forewarning. Like, she didn't write like prologue, or she didn't write like a date like 1865 or something like that. So you have no clue what you're reading. You just jump in and you think that you're reading the now. And that's why when I was like, what the hell is Chandra? Where'd she go? The problem is that because right when it got to Chandra and Stefan, it goes to the flashback. And Jill is actually this guy's mother. Jack and Jill are his parents. And so what you're reading at the beginning is I'm assuming, because that's finally what I got, is the actual interaction between the now characters. And so, if I had to say anything to the author, this book was very, very confusing. I could not keep heads or tails about it. I don't like to start people's books low. I don't like to talk trash about people's books. And I'm not going to start, but I kind of really feel like the author needs to go back to the drawing board and map out this story, because this could be a really, really good story. It's just that it's all jumbled together. You can't tell heads or tails from it. You don't know what's forbearing and what's thereafter. I mean, it's like, I'm assuming the way that it was written, the beginning part is a flashback and it's a prologue. But she doesn't give you any information and no warning that that's what that is. So everything gets jumbled together. The characters starts to become very confusing. And so I'm not going to start this book, because I would really like for the author to go back to the drawing board and map this story out. And I feel like it will get really good reviews, because the premise of the story is good. The fact that, it's basically his origin story, and it needs to be mapped out as an origin story, because right now it's just one big chaotic jumble. And so I'm not joking, I literally got a headache trying to figure out how these characters interact and they go. And so I kind of feel like, not to sound condescending, but like, because I do it, you need a bubble map. I do a bubble map. I teach my students to use a bubble map, because then it gets all of your thoughts in one spot, and so they don't come out chaotic and jumble. And so at this point in time, I can't start this book because it was very chaotic, and I just feel like the author could have an amazing book if she goes back to the drawing board. And so that's all I'm going to say about it. And I hope I don't hurt anyone's feelings for that. But I really tried, and it was very chaotic. So, so once again, the book is called Um, the book is called The True Alpha. And another thing, like the cover shows up to date people. Like the guy's in a hoodie. She's got like a sweatband on her hair. And then the wolf is there because I'm assuming, when I was reading it, the kid turns into a werewolf shifter. And so it's up to date. So that's part of the confusion, because the beginning of the book sounds like it's like way back centuries ago, and then you have modern times, and then you have this modern cover. So that's what I'm saying. I kind of feel like the author needs to revamp the story and set the parameters for it, were separated, prologue, then up to date, because it just comes out very, very confusing. And that's all I'm going to say about today's review. Now, tomorrow, we will be reading, because we haven't gotten an author yet. We will be reading Kenesha Knowles's. Darn it. I thought I had the book here. Anyway, we will be reading Kenesha Knowles tomorrow, and it's her fairy. It Takes a Fairy. Yes. That is who we will be reviewing tomorrow. Kenesha Knowles, It Takes a Fairy. And basically it's a fairy dragon, which is pretty cool. I like how she incorporated the two. So he's half fae, half dragon, and it comes out really good. So that is who we will be reviewing tomorrow. So if you are a indie author, please send in your submissions. It does not matter what you write, as long as it's not Christian and non-fiction. Send in those submissions. And don't forget, at the end of this month, we will be having a raffle for a $50 Amazon gift card. So make sure you subscribe. Click that little button. Then click the bell down there. That will let you know each time we upload a video. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love. Bye.